Okay. Welcome back to my life, I guess. Okay, so I have experienced a lot of discomfort and pain and swelling and what have you in my legs since about 2019. So we are 2021. It's been a while. I haven't made any videos for YouTube. I got in kind of a rut of what I wanted to make, but I am thinking I'm going to make kind of a series about what's happening currently. Today I went and made myself shorter at my prosthetist office, which is a weird thing to tell people in general, like if you're not used to someone being an amputee, especially a bilateral amputee who can choose how tall they want their prosthetics to be. I need to stop slouching, as my chiropractor keeps reminding me. So today I sat at the prosthetics place for about 3 hours. My right prosthetic was starting to crack at the hinge, which I guess is where a lot of like torque or energy is going. For the last like 10 years since I've had this kind of system of kind of a suction prosthetic, I have had issues kind of in the same area for one reason or another. This past 8 days, I noticed that there was a crack forming in some of the carbon fiber, and luckily we were able to fix that with resin and relamination and a whole bunch of other stuff. It could either work forever or it could crack again, and then we'd have to relaminate kind of from scratch. And ironically, I was told, like, to come in and drop off my prosthetics and come get them, like, more than 24 hours later, but I can't go anywhere without my prosthetics, so I'm not really sure what he meant per se. I think people forget that I'm an amputee and I don't have a backup pair of prosthetics that I can wear while like the good ones are getting fixed. But during like the end of my appointment, I was talking to both my technician and the prosthetist, who was like, we could make you a new pair of limbs. These were made in 2016. I started wearing them in February of 2017. So I've had these particular ones for 5 years, but over the last almost 2 years, I would say I have hardly worn them at all. I used to wear them from the moment I woke up until the moment I went to bed. Over the course of the last 2 years, there's been times where I keep them off for the whole day because it's just uncomfortable. Most recently, I have started a kind of healthy eating and getting some more like fitness into my life, because I know weight gain is kind of a culprit of a lot of the symptoms. I've experienced some edema or lymphedema, and I went to the OT for a couple months to do some lymphatic drainage, like massage type stuff, and that does really work. And I'm at a point where my legs are no longer swollen as they once were. When I talked to my OT, she was like, as you're losing weight, you're going to put less of this kind of situation at hand. Because I'm an amputee, I've always figured like when I gain weight, there really isn't anywhere for it to go. And so maybe this is not accurate, but in my head, if I gain 1 pound, it's like someone else gaining 10 pounds because it's just harder overall for my body to move. But anyway, back to the story of like getting new prosthetics. We were talking about making new covers for these current legs, but they would like to just make new covers for a new pair of legs. And in that conversation, they discussed a C-leg, which is a computerized knee. Now, I've kind of been indifferent to the whole idea ever since I've learned of them. I have always had 2 prosthetics that I manually walk and power with my own body strength. So I'm thinking like, why would one of them be a computer and the other one is still mechanically powered by myself? And they were giving examples of like, people who are backing up who are like veterinarians and a dog bites them or something. I get that. Or maybe like someone who's holding a baby, making sure they don't engage their knee when they're not supposed to, because there have been many times, mainly most of my falls are when my knee decides to engage or just simply snap down and cause me to fall. That I've gotten injured. Last spring, I fell really, like, I think it was the worst fall of them all, where I fell and hit the corner of my bathroom sink and, like, apparently dislodged a rib. I just recently started going to a new chiropractor, and he, like, popped it back in place and was like, how did that happen? Like, what have you been doing in your day-to-day life that a rib would be out of place. And we kind of realized like, oh, it's probably from that time you fell in the bathroom really hard. There are other times that are like tripping over, you know, uneven sidewalks, ice, snow, etc. I live in Wisconsin, so 4 to 5 months out of the year we have a lot of snow and like just not ideal weather for someone who walks on prosthetics. I try to just stay in my home during that time. And since my last video, I have moved to a new place with my boyfriend. And yeah, so it kind of looks like I'm in the corner, but I mean, I am, but this is our master bedroom. So I've moved to a new place. It has mostly hardwood floors. It has like an elevator from the parking garage underneath our building. And then if I was to park up top, I would call it, to get into the building, it's like 0 entry, so I don't have to step up on anything, which is great. There are definitely entrances on this building that have a whole flight of stairs, given that there's underground parking. But anyways, I'm really on a tangent. So thinking about getting a sea leg, I was told to figure out my insurance options and see which ones I could get to cover it, which I've literally never done. That's something a provider has always done, so I don't know if that's changed. Also, I'm not super interested in getting this type of leg, so I don't have the motivation to look into this at this point. Another thing that I got in the works in the last 3 or 4 months is a wheelchair. So I had a wheelchair as a kid, like kindergarten age. So it was like professionally designed to my measurements as a child, and then I outgrew that. Then I had one maybe the end of middle school to high school. And I had it when I moved to college, but I decided just to donate both my childhood wheelchair and that wheelchair to the hospital. So I've never really used a wheelchair in my home. I have very large arm muscles and upper body strength because when I'm not wearing my prosthetics, I am propelling myself with my hands kind of in a scooting motion. So yeah, it's been a lot of kind of, not really a mental struggle, but a mental hurdle to come over to think about using a wheelchair for more day-to-day things. Like once my prosthetics are off, I can use it going from surface to surface, like a couch to a chair or into the restroom, for example. Or just like if I wanted to keep my legs off all day for some reason, I could just have this wheelchair handy. It does, of course, take time. I went last month for my, I guess, referral appointment, which lasted way longer than I expected. There was measurements and movements, and I tested out this wheelchair that wasn't my size because my legs were really long and blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of like an avalanche progression of like what's happening in my life. I picked out a really cool color for the wheelchair, so I guess that's exciting. They also suggested I use like a shower chair, but most of the time I'm someone who likes to soak in a bath, so I'm probably going to turn down the shower chair just because it's big and bulky and I don't want to take it in and out of the shower, and I'm just not super interested. Like, I've lived 34 years without any sort of adaptive measures, but I'm also not getting younger. Like, I'm getting older, things are changing, my body is different. But honestly, I think the best thing I'm going to be doing is eating healthy and getting to a weight that's comfortable for my legs to kind of, you know, stay healthy. I thought there was going to be more to my wheelchair process, and I was originally going to like film it, but the day I went, I didn't know that's when I was going to be like measured. So that kind of went out the window pretty quickly. Yeah, I think I still have 2 months to wait for this wheelchair to be delivered, and they identified like that I have back issues, which obviously like I don't use my body the same as everybody else who has like 2 working limbs attached to their body. So I have like some lordosis or like a sway in my back or like an S curve. So they're going to add all of these things for my back, and it just feels like a lot of change at one time. Yeah, and this video is just kind of like a brain dump because I had not planned to do this. I'm trying to think of what else happened today at the appointment. It was mostly about the sea leg and me, like, I don't have any interest in it. I feel like if I had either one full residual limb and then missing one of the other limbs, or the opposite limb, a mechanical knee or computerized knee makes the most sense to me. Because I'm going to still have one that I'm operating, I think that's going to really mess with me. And I don't want to do all the legwork of like getting insurance to approve this. So I don't know. We shall see. But as far as my workouts go, I try to do high intensity interval training, which there's like thousands, or if not millions, of those types of videos on YouTube. I typically just stick to this like 21-day fix DVD I got 6 years ago because I've already adapted a lot of the moves and I know it gives me like the heart, I don't know what I'm talking about, the intensity that I need to feel like I've worked out. But yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of changes in the last few years since I have last posted. I got a little bit discouraged by YouTube's like algorithm and how they support their content creators, and I get like me sitting on a chair at my desk is not that interesting. But I'm going to try to maybe make some more videos, maybe get an actual camera to do this instead of using my laptop, which this totally works. But yeah, I guess, you know, getting a wheelchair is a big change. If I end up getting new legs, I would like to record that as well. I did that previously. I'll try to figure out how to connect all of that because I am like an elderly millennial who doesn't know how to do that super easily. So if I'm getting new legs made in the next year or so, cool. Also, in my mind, I just want the current legs to be brand new. Like, I don't want to relearn how to walk because that's what happens every time there's a slight change. And a change, like a different kind of knee that I've never had before, is going to be, I don't know, I don't want to say impossible, but it's going to be really difficult. I'm probably going to hate it. Like, I hated different types of feet. I've had the same types of feet now for ages. Yeah. Change and myself as far as walking is annoying. I just want to keep the legs as they are, and if they're working, great, let's just recreate these exactly how they are. Some people on my team are not in the same mindset, and I get that. They're, you know, they work at a prosthetics place, so they want to be like making more prosthetics and making sure you have like the top of the line thing. But I would say my current set, I know they cost like $60,000, and that did not have a mechanical knee because those are incredibly expensive. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to some of that, but also at the same time sort of open because if it made my life easier, that would be great. But it also seems like charging a leg is just one more thing I have to do every couple of days, on top of, you know, taking care of my residual limbs and making sure I'm eating right. But everyone has crap on their plate that they don't want to do, and I get that. But this is where I like to vent and, you know, share the commisery. That's not a word. So yeah, that's kind of where things are at. I don't know what else to say. I am excited that I'm shorter. I noticed a difference instantly. And this is rambly, so I'm sorry, but yeah, I am here. I am not back. I don't know if I am, but yeah, I'm going to try to maybe make a schedule. I am submitting an abstract to present at the Amputee Coalition National Convention this year, as it is pretty close to where I live, and I am a licensed counselor in my state, as well as a rehab counselor, which is somebody who assists people with jobs and making sure they're the right accommodations. So I have some knowledge that may be applicable to other people in similar situations, and I have lived experience, so it could be cool to be a presenter again for that. But yeah, I don't know how many people watch these, but if you have ideas for videos, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, all right. Bye.